Isaac Cruz es uno de los peleadores más valientes y listos para la batalla en el deporte del boxeo de hoy. Pero incluso los mejores peleadores del planeta a veces se topan con un desafío que subestimaron, alguien que los empuja más allá de lo esperado. Y en esos combates, a menudo tenemos la oportunidad de ver de qué están realmente hechos estos guerreros. Porque tan pronto comienzas a creerte tu propio bombo publicitario, es ahí cuando puedes encontrarte en problemas. No es que Cruz estuviera menospreciando a Ángel Fierro, pero no hay duda de que quedó sorprendido por la pelea que terminó teniendo. Su preparación nunca aún había estado en duda, pero su confianza quizás estaba un poco demasiado alta. De repente, un contendiente improbable estaba a punto de enseñarle qué tan rápido todo puede ponerse en duda. El cara a cara del pesaje contaba su propia historia, elevando el riesgo a un nivel diferente. Estos dos guerreros tenían una mirada en sus ojos que parecía indicar que estaban listos para cualquier cosa en el ring. Y para Pitbull Cruz, con tal de llevarse a casa esta importante victoria, se vería obligado a cavar muchísimo más profundo de lo que jamás pudo haber esperado. Recuerden que si quieren apoyar al canal, no olviden usar la función de hype. Pitbull es conocido por su agresividad en el ring y su capacidad de demoler a sus oponentes estaba captando cada vez más atención. No se podía negar su estatus como uno de los peleadores más valientes y mortíferos de su división, pero no todo era viento en popa. Tras probar la derrota y quedar expuesto hasta cierto punto en su pelea más reciente, la presión recaía sobre Pitbull Cruz para recuperarse. Ángel Fierro había demostrado ser un pegador peligroso con un mentón duradero. La pregunta era si sería capaz de encontrar el interruptor de apagado de Cruz. Lo que no sabíamos era qué tan competitiva sería esta pelea. Isaac Cruz versus Ángel Fierro. A veces una pelea no revela realmente todos sus secretos sobre el papel. En este caso, no teníamos absolutamente ninguna idea de qué esperar al llegar al combate. Muchos aficionados de Pitbull creían que esto era poco más que una pelea de recuperación tras su reciente derrota. Pero nuestras expectativas estaban a punto de ser totalmente subvertidas. Esta pelea se estaba perfilando como un clásico moderno. Round 1. En el primer round vimos algo de la clásica presión de Isaac Cruz, mientras intentaba imponerse en el combate desde que comenzó.
You take a look at our tale of the bet for this one. There's some good value on the KO props on both sides of this fight. I have a bet on this one to go the distance at -115.
You both been given your instructions. Obey my command at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Anything from here on up is good. From here on up is good. Touch gloves. Good luck.
Alan Huggins, the referee. The latest chapter of Mexico versus Mexico. Mano versus Mano, about to be authored here at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Isaac Pitbull Cruz, Ángel Fierro, fighting for the commemorative Aztec Warrior Championship. These promise to display more heart than Le Jour de l'Amour coming up later this month. And here we go.
Buckle your seatbelts for this one. And already they're getting after it.
Where's that feeling out process, Abner?
Never from Cruz. He's the type of guy that's just gonna pressure, relentless pressure, body work, just volume. And Fierro said, hey, I'm gonna sit in the pocket as well.
That's the only way Fierro knows. He told us I'm gonna go full force, straight ahead. And he said it's gonna come down to who's better conditioned. Let's see if they even get out of this first round with the way Pitbull's unloading power shots.
I believe the jab will be ignored so much that it will develop abandonment issues in this fight, you guys. And yet, honestly, in talking to people, if Isaac Cruz were to establish an up-and-down jab, he might have more success. But we know what Isaac Cruz is all about. One gear forward.
Yeah, I like that. Cruz, he always fights slow and compact, and that's what makes it so hard to be hit. That's what prevented Tank Davis to land punches as well. He's a small guy as it is, and bends those knees. He gets in low. Speaking of Cruz.
See Cruz digging in deep with those left hands to the body. For as big as Fierro is, you see the height advantage, the nearly 7-inch reach advantage. We never expected that to be part of his game plan, and it's not. This is toe-to-toe fighting.
Oh, beautiful right hand from Cruz. As an uppercut, a straight punch, and body work.
He comes to fight, Abner.
Oh, yeah. Does he ever? Yeah, he possesses power in both hands. But again, he's getting hit a lot.
We're in the final minute of this round, and already Cruz has thrown 64 punches. Fierro's thrown 59. This year marks the 700th anniversary of really where the seeds were planted for Mexico City, and of course, the Mexican fan base really coursing through this entire sport, Brian. Nice counter right hook by Cruz.
That Mexican fan base has long been the backbone of boxing. And you hear that ovation for Pitbull with that honest style. They're letting it go early on.
Every punch being thrown with bad intentions. Fierro counters with a combination upstairs. Wow.
Round 2. En el segundo round, Fierro intentó devolver los golpes contra el constante movimiento hacia adelante de Cruz, pero hasta el momento le estaba costando mantener a su oponente alejado de él.
Big left hook from Cruz there again.
Another left hook upstairs by Cruz.
And I was just going to say that in the last round, I like what Fierro did in the last second, which was counterpunch. And that's what he needs to do against Cruz. Use that jab and counterpunch. Wait for Cruz to make mistakes.
Almost open up. Of Cruz's power connects were body punches. Cruz going upstairs, sweeping left hook, right hand, just stalking.
Yeah.
Midway through the second. Oh, punch by Cruz, and culminates that combination with a chopping right hand upstairs.
That was definitely the definition of a bolo punch, how he threw it.
Sugar Ray, baby, Sugar Ray.
Fierro's taking his power shots well, though. Look, this is a Tijuana kid. He's had Eric Morales as a mentor from the beginning of his career. At one point, Morales trained him, and you have to understand, these are the fights Fierro prefers to be in.
Left hook to the body by Fierro. And now he goes to the body, but not as much power behind his punches that we've seen from Cruz thus far. Cruz, beautiful. Lead left hook to the body, right hand upstairs.
Beautifully placed right by Cruz. Again, he takes 1 or 2 to place 4 or 5. Speaking of Cruz.
What did we say at the top of the telecast? The Mexican style of boxing, the willingness to take one.
That's a good one. Oh!
You gotta love the combination punching here from Pitbull early on, taking the fight right to Fierro.
And there's a jab.
The overhand rights from Cruz, they're just there. Fierro's pulling straight back with his head up.
Lead right uppercut, combination by Fierro backing up. That might have been his best combination of the fight.
But there's always an answer by Cruz.
Round 3. En el round 3, el libreto de cómo se suponía que se desarrollaría esta pelea fue arrojado por la ventana. Fierro estaba a punto de tener un momento enorme.
Yeah, he's trying to counter punch Fierro, but again, Cruz is just too aggressive. He always has to respond after a combination from Fierro.
Cruz continues to walk down Fierro. Goes to the body. Uppercut on the inside lands for Cruz.
And those are the inside punches that the corner was asking for.
Nice 1-2 through the guard by Cruz. Fierro, like Brian said, there's a right hand, but fewer and farther between here. There's a right uppercut by Fierro, able to escape off the ropes, but on his back foot. And this is where Cruz wants his opponent, on the back foot, feeling the pressure, both physically and mentally.
Indeed. Fierro still believed, though, coming in that he could outlast Cruz in this fight. He trained at altitude in Toluca, Mexico in preparation for this. Let's see whether he can make the type of adjustments to keep Cruz off of him.
Yeah, he talked about that conditioning. You've been saying it, and he's going to need it because Cruz is going to be in your face all 12 rounds. 10 rounds, I'm sorry.
If you've ever wondered why Cruz is such a popular fighter with such a big fan base, it's because of this honest, aggressive style.
Coming up on the midway point of the third, and there's a wild punch by Cruz, missing with the right hand. But Fierro unable to sit down on his punches, unable to really get set because of that pressure. And there gets clipped with a sweeping right hand upstairs. Fierro trying to utilize the jab, trying to utilize lateral movement. But it's wave after wave of the Cruz attack. He is in Cruz control, but that doesn't mean that he's just taking it easy. Cruz control means a completely different thing when it's Isaac Pitbull Cruz.
No doubt. We question whether Fierro would use that reach advantage. Cruz is not even giving him a chance to by crowding him with those short hooks inside. Oh, big right hand from Fierro.
Yes, Fierro comes back. And there lands another right, and there we go, toe-to-toe what the fans expected.
Fierro's corner is urging him to take advantage here.
Uppercuts aplenty. What an exchange, what a round. Viva Mexico.
Round 4, de repente, Fierro no se veía perdido ahí dentro con Pitbull, y ahora ambos hombres parecían entender que tenían una pelea real entre manos.
We remember that Fierro got off the canvas twice in the against Alberto Machado and stopped him. He got hurt by Pitbull early in this fight, but now he's beginning to turn the tide.
Definitely is. We talked about the conditioning, the willingness, the heart, and obviously both fighters showing it, but a lot more from Fierro because he's the one taking the punches, but giving a lot more back too.
Yeah, Abner, you'll have to forgive me. My Spanish is not that great, but big huevos, okay, on both sides of the ring tonight.
Yeah, he does. He's the smaller guy, always leading with the head. Corner telling him to keep him with the jab, the distance. And he's right.
By Cruz.
You wonder whether those body shots could eventually slow Fierro's attack, but they're back to head hunting here.
Oh, left hand clip Fierro.
But be careful because every time that Cruz does that, he creates an opening for the uppercut, for the inside punches that Fierro can land.
Less than a minute remaining in the fourth, and they have already combined to throw 500 punches. Cruz outlanding Fierro 107 to 85, but we've seen Fierro come up, especially in that last round, with the first round that he outlanded Cruz, and right now hanging tough with him here in the fourth frame.
Well, it's hard to compare Fierro.
Wow!
It's hard to compare Fierro to a Hall of Famer like Morales, but one thing about Eric Morales, when you hit him, he wanted to get that receipt back right away. You're seeing that same spirit out of Fierro.
Yeah, we are definitely. When Guerrero hit him, he'll come back with a combination of his own. And that's what we're seeing tonight against these two fighters.
To the body, Fierro goes upstairs with a combination. Punches in bunches. Many of them landing flush.
Oh, let them cook, Mo. Let them cook.
Let them cook. And speaking of Mexican style.
Round 5. El contragolpeo que Fierro estaba mostrando era un problema constante para Cruz. Pero aún así siguió peleando, demostrando su capacidad de adaptación mientras intentaba descifrar este acertijo.
Pitbull leads with the right like Benavidez does and went downstairs with a left hook to the liver. Right uppercut misses for Cruz. Nice combination from Fierro.
Really good. Oof. Beautiful overhand right from Fierro as well.
Pitbull landed a career best 39 power shots in round 1, and his power connects well. They have dropped each round down to 18 only in round 4, Brian.
Fierro certainly working his way back into the fight. He's got the respect of Cruz. And this is becoming the mano-a-mano fight we all signed up for coming in.
We talked about how comfortable.
Looked like Cruz led with his head right there.
Is there an echo here? Because we've likes to lead with his head. And being warned by the referee for doing so. And, well, again, we talk about styles making fights, but Cruz, he landed 114 punches through 4 rounds tonight. Against Valenzuela, he landed 118 total, you guys. We are through the midway point of the 5th round and the fight. And now Cruz connecting on Fierro. Corralled him in the corner momentarily.
You tell that Cruz is throwing every punch with power. So, I mean, I wonder how long he's going to last, you know, throwing those punches. Is he going to tire out?
Another right hand lands for Cruz upstairs. Fierro beginning to miss, beginning to counter right hand, just misses for Fierro. Leads with the right hook and scores upstairs. There's a clipping right hand by Cruz. Cruz just 25 years old. Fierro just 26 yet to enter their physical primes, but at the lower weights, we know those primes don't last long.
Especially when someone like Pitbull turning pro at age 16.
Round 6. De pronto, lo que se pretendía que fuera una pelea fácil para Pitbull, tras su reciente derrota, se estaba convirtiendo en una de las peleas más duras de toda su carrera.
For the diminutive Dynamo. And our unofficial score, Larry Hazard has Fierro trailing by 3 points on his scorecard. He gave Cruz the first 2 rounds, Fierro coming on.
Yeah, exactly. Coming on as far as putting pressure now in this round, Fierro. Despite him taking punches, now it's him trying to move Cruz back.
Fierro just doesn't go away as he turns the tables on Pitbull here.
Pitbull on the ropes momentarily. The jab from Fierro, long distance, and trying to establish the proper range for Fierro with that reach advantage. Mid-range, doesn't want to get too close.
Well, we questioned, is it a reach advantage if you don't use it? He's got 6.5 inches. You're seeing a little bit of that as he fights from middle distances.
But he's still in distance to eat the counter from the guy with the reach disadvantage. There's a couple of left hooks, make that 3-4, and Fierro unloading. Good block by Fierro, brought out the left hand just in the nick of time to block that right from Cruz. Things getting a little wild for Isaac Pitbull Cruz here in the 6th as we begin the second half of this 10-rounder at 140. For the commemorative Aztec Warrior belt, we got a couple of guerreros inside the ring tonight.
Do we ever? And speaking of guerreros, Fierro kind of resembles Morales. He talked about Morales being his mentor. And look at him, he's pushing him back, the way he's moving his hands as well. He resembles Morales, no doubt.
May not have the same exact skill set, but he certainly brings that power, that ferociousness, and this is some of Fierro's best work since late in round 3 when he rallied to take that from Cruz.
Right uppercut, and of course, when you talk about guerreros, you got to mention the greatest ever, Eddie. Get Eddie. A minute left here in the 6th. Rest in power, my man. No rest for Cruz and Fierro, that's for sure. Conditioning is paramount. I was talking to a trainer, didn't want to be identified, but he said, you know what would really help Cruz if he would just step to the right or left and throw punches once in a while instead of just squaring up and coming forward. But I mean, hey, the recipe is there and it tastes pretty good for Cruz thus far in his career. Less than 30 seconds left here in the 6th.
Yeah, obviously there's always room for improvement, but if it works, keep doing it. And so far, it's always worked for Cruz.
Good round here, though, for Fierro overall.
Another great round of action. Cruz versus Fierro. An all-Mexican pitched battle.
Round 7. Fierro simplemente no parecía temerle al poder de pegada de Cruz tanto como en los rounds anteriores.
The last round, speaking of Fierro.
The last round, round 6, those 15 punches that Cruz landed, fight low for the former champ. Fierro landed him 23 to 15 in the 6th frame through 77 punches compared to Cruz's 60. But man, Cruz has a huge advantage when it comes to body shots, Brian.
No question about it. He made that investment early on, although you saw a good counter uppercut there from Fierro, who's able to get that extension when they fight on the inside there.
Yeah. A deceleration for both fighters in terms of their offense here in the 7th. A minute left.
Good body shot there from Cruz.
Nice. Another body Nice shot. Oh, good combination by Fierro, the referee, much to the consternation of Fierro's corner, saying, come on, that was on the bell line.
That was good.
Double jab from Fierro, right uppercut misses. Wow, is that a jab from Cruz?
I think that was allowed in this fight.
There's a counter right hand that landed for Fierro.
Interesting, though, Fierro told us this week he feels like Pitbull overlooked him. You know, there were rumors that Pitbull was in talks of a possible Ryan Garcia fight, and he felt he'd been overlooked, and he's fighting that way up to this point.
He's a good person, he said.
Round 8. Ambos hombres estaban mostrando una resistencia bastante increíble aquí, caminando a través de los golpes del otro como si no fueran nada.
Tracked by CompuBox. The previous high was 153. By the way, this is just round 8, scheduled for 10. Cruz wanted a fight.
He got one, yeah.
Remember, this is Cruz's bounce back from that Valenzuela fight. He wanted to send a big message. He may be getting an edge when it comes to rounds, but Fierro just isn't going anywhere.
And he's closing the gap in terms of total connects as well as Fierro.
And even myself, I'm not going to lie, I saw Fierro fight and I said, you know what, this is tailor-made for Cruz.
And it is.
Yeah, he's right in front of him, but again, not easy, and he's still in the fight. Fierro doing his own work.
But when you have the first ever, and again, as you know me, I mean, sanctioning bodies give out belts like Costco gives out food samples, but in terms of the commemorative Aztec Warrior Championship belt, especially when you honor a guy like Israel Vasquez, and for my money, the first 3 fights between Vasquez and Rafael Marquez, maybe the greatest trilogy that I've ever witnessed. I know there was a quadrology there, but in this fight, these two are living up to the symbolism of that belt, Brian.
And no doubt, this was about honoring the Mexican heritage. These two are certainly doing that, and then some at this point.
Wow, great body work. We get great fight. 2 Mexican warriors going at it, toe-to-toe. Fierro, Cruz. Great body work from Cruz right there.
If you notice, every time Cruz lands a big hook, you get a 3-punch combination immediately after from Fierro. You have to wonder how the judges are going to be scoring these exchanges.
Final minute of the 8th. The way they're attacking each other is the way you would expect keyboard warriors to hit those keys as they're in the comments section, drinking that haterade.
The haterade.
Nobody reads the comments, do they?
No, of course not. Plenty of comments, I'm sure, are being made online about this fight, however, because Cruz and Fierro have already crashed. They've combined to throw over 1,000 punches, and we have yet to hit round 9. Oh, the left hook lands for Cruz upstairs. Fierro continues to throw back.
Every straight punch that Fierro threw landed.
Round 9. Para el round 9, estos dos seguían demostrando que aún les quedaba gasolina en el tanque y que estaban decididos a usarla toda para el final del round 10.
Off to a very aggressive start.
Yes, he did.
Will that slow him down at the end? It doesn't look like it at this moment.
No, he's always going to be trying, speaking of Cruz, always pushing forward. But again, not the same relentless power punches from Cruz.
Total punches through 9 rounds, Fierro. And Cruz has landed 202 of 502. So he has the edge in total punches landed. And of course, in boxing, every round scored individually. 10-point must system. There's a right hook that lands upstairs for Cruz.
It's that Toluca, Mexico high altitude where he was training Fierro.
Well, at the weigh-in, they stared into each other's souls. We are watching them try to steal each other's souls in this scintillating scrap. Wow, lead left hook by Cruz catches Fierro on the chin.
Whether or not Fierro can ultimately pull off this upset, from the very beginning when this fight was announced, he's acted like he belongs in this ring across from Cruz.
We've talked about thrilling trilogies, Mexico versus Mexico. We could be seeing another one begin right here tonight.
I wouldn't mind watching it again. Let's get a rematch. Let's see how it ends.
Give and take. Big left hand.
Big left hand and the big right hand by Cruz. And now again, just standing in front of each other, swinging with bad intentions. Oh, he gets clipped, but still standing. Let's listen to this crowd. Coming up on the final 3 minutes of what has definitely lived up to the hype. Hype, can you say Fight of the Year candidate?
Round 10. ¿Quién sabe cómo estarían viendo esto los jueces? Para Pitbull, realmente necesitaba terminar fuerte.
To notice, Cruz could not miss in the final minute last round with those big counter left hooks. Fierro still leaving that right hand down on the exchanges.
And Fierro is coming on in the second half of this fight, guys. He is now unofficially ahead on Larry Hazard's scorecard.
Is he ever? He's closing this fight. He's closing this round. My God, what a fight.
High drama as anticipated.
Look at this, look at this. Big left hand from Cruz once again.
Uppercut by Cruz, but Fierro overextending there. But see when he gets close, Cruz is landing. Cruz's hands are down.
Fierro still looks like the fresher fighter here.
He does, throwing a lot more, landing a lot more. Fierro in this round, pushing Cruz back.
Any time is the right time for a Wu-Tang Clan reference. These two are bringing the ruckus. Cruz launching an attack. A visceral display of courage, skill, and determination that defines the essence of not only Mexican boxing, but boxing, period, full stop. Viva Mexico! Viva Isaac Cruz and Ángel Fierro!
All three in favor of the winner, truly deserving the WBC Aztec Warrior belt, Isaac Pitbull Cruz.
Ganar, perder o empatar. Esta era una clara candidata a la pelea del año. Y de muchas maneras fue una actuación de revelación para Fierro. Pero la victoria solo podía otorgarse en una dirección, y pasara lo que pasara, sería cerrada. Era el tipo de oponente que Cruz realmente necesitaba enfrentar, una prueba que vino desde el ángulo más inesperado, desafiándolo de maneras que nunca esperó. Al final, hizo lo justo y necesario para ganarse una victoria peleada con sangre. ¿Pero qué piensan de este violento joven talento? ¿Y qué creen que le depara el 2026 dentro del ring? Déjenos saber sus pensamientos, opiniones y comentarios candentes en la sección de abajo.